G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Truen. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it.
Welcome everyone. Today I'm interviewing Julia Ewert, who's a sales strategist and professional negotiator, and Julia's based in Perth in Western Australia. So thanks for your time, Julia.
Thanks, Mick. Good to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to this. I think it's a great topic, and today we're talking about creating repeatable, customised sales processes for B2B businesses, which you've built an infinite sales system trademark sales process, and so we'll talk about that and what the impact and the benefits can be to sort of follow that. So just to kick off, just give our audience some background about yourself and what you do.
Sure, Mick. Well, as you said, I'm Julia Ewert. I'm a sales strategist and a professional negotiator. My company works with B2B organisations to teach them a customised, repeatable sales process where our clients can just be themselves. The commonalities of this process is actually based on two things. It's based on it's based on world's best practice in sales process, coming from my corporate history of leading large sales teams in some pretty large companies. And it's also based on advanced negotiation skills. So I'm also a professional negotiator, having learnt some of these skills from hostage, crisis, and terrorist negotiators. It is as fascinating as what people think it might be, but the learnings are really, really transferable.
Yes, the negotiation piece certainly interests me, and I've listened to a few people who are professional negotiators and even in sort of high risk areas where human life's at risk. So no doubt you can sort of talk to us a little bit about that. So with the processes and the infinite sales system, just give us some insight into that system, what it does, and the benefits for business owners.
Yeah. So the infinite sales system, as I shared, is a customizable process where businesses can implement this. And this is essentially the revenue machine of the business. There's a really, an old book now, but it's a great one. The E-Myth, Michael Gerber. One of the famous lines from his book is that he talks about the smartest businesses in the world are run on systems and processes. And the famous phrase that he uses, which I think just rings true, is that the system runs the business and the people run the system. So a sales process or a sales system in your business becomes the standard way you operate. And then we hire people to just do the step by step. And this is the revenue machine. So the infinite sales system is based on 3 principles: qualify, convert, and follow up. Qualify to help our clients get in front of more of the right kinds of opportunities. And as we know, Mick, many businesses who are smaller can be focused on just getting any opportunity. So getting the right opportunities are really important. The second principle is converting, which is what to say and what to do when you get that opportunity to meet someone to talk about your services. It's how do you explain what you do in a way that makes people sit up and pay attention. It's how do you stand out in a competitive space. All our clients are working in a competitive space. And it's also how to have that a successful price negotiation so that you're not leading with price and so that you're not winning on price. And the third principle out of qualify, convert, and follow up is how we play the long game, which is that follow up. The research tells us that about 80% of new business is converted after the point of actually sending someone a proposal, and that's where the hard work starts. So follow-up is how you play the long game, because we talk about in follow-up being a value-added part of the relationship, not an annoying part of the relationship. Well, I'm constantly ringing Mick every week saying, hey, Mick, can we do the business? Or, hey, Mick, are you ready now? Or that's just annoying. So follow-up is how do we play that long game, and how do we shorten that long game, but do it in a way that builds trust.
Yeah, it's sounds logical, and sometimes a bit harder to implement for small business particularly. So could you give us some maybe 2 or 3 aspects of each, qualify, convert and follow up, that a small business owner could then take away tomorrow and start to put in place?
Yeah. So if we talk about qualify first, this is so that we can respect our time and also the time of the prospect that we're meeting. No one likes to turn up to a meeting blind. So we want to make sure that we can actually turn up to any meeting with a prospective client with a little bit of background information. So in my company, Mick, anyone who wants to have a conversation with me about my services, I'm happy to chat with people and have a meeting. However, the first gate to doing that is they have to complete a few questions for me, just so I can respect their time and come prepared for the conversation. Otherwise, I'm just wasting their time in thinking on the spot when I could have prepared some thoughts for them. So how we can qualify is making sure that we are never turning up to a meeting until we've actually got a little bit of background information. And we can just do that by asking some fundamental questions, not deep and strategic questions, some questions along the lines of, what was the reason you contacted me? Why is now the right time for conversation? What kind of services might you be interested in? What's your level of urgency on this work? How did you find out about us? And what else might you like to share with us? These are just some fundamental questions we can learn about somebody. And these should take somebody 90 seconds to fill in a form or in an email or even ask over the phone. That way, when you turn up to that conversation, you've got a little bit of background and you can feel a bit more at ease with starting that conversation.
And is it important that you've got real clarity around who your target market is and who you want to deal with as part of that?
Yes. And I'm sure, Mick, you would have heard it more times than you can count. I did it when I started. I can help everybody. Yep. So this is certainly the trap that I was in. And I feel like that's almost a rite of passage. If you're in business, I feel like you kind of need to go through that before you can come out the other end and go, oh, no, that's a terrible strategy. So I too went through the I can help everybody phase. And then you realize after time, no, you can't. And that's not great. So yes, having clarity on your target market is where this all starts. Now, that's a marketing function. That's not what I have any genius or expertise in. I have experience in marketing because in small business, we need to wear all the hats. So I have done some marketing, but I do not have any qualifications or experience in that from a professional level. But yes, target market is so important because I can tell you, you can't help everybody. And so when I eventually landed on who my target market was and what the thing is I wanted to sell, I suddenly became easier to buy from and my conversion ratio increased and business became much easier. I'm not saying it was easy, but it became much easier.
Yeah, and I think obviously, as you say, it's very much important from a marketing perspective, but doing a lot of strategy work as a business coach, it's certainly very much part of strategy and understanding where your target market is, which then obviously aligns with your marketing strategy for that alignment and, to your point, to be more effective and efficient. So very good point. And so what about the convert piece?
So the convert is really important as well. The converting allows us to have a really purposeful conversation with our prospect where you don't just turn up and they say, so Mick, what do you do? And how much are your services? I heard you guys were really expensive. Having a plan or a process for this, what we call our first sales conversation, allows us to be purposeful and engineer our conversation around the other person, in fact, so that we don't have to do what I call the show up and throw up. So the show up and throw up was when we turn up and we have to just vomit our greatness all over somebody. No one loves doing that. We may have some listeners who have done it. You've probably all seen it or heard it. So we want to not do the show up and throw up. So our converting principle in our sales process is about how do you conduct this first conversation in a really purposeful way where the other person is actually the hero of the conversation. You allow the other person to share what's important to them. We allow that other person to highlight everything they're looking to achieve through the challenge that they've actually got in front of them. In that first sales conversation, we are slowing everything down. It should feel slow. If someone ever says to me, Mick, love to hear, Julia, what you're up to and how you can help us. Can you come in for a quick chat? I don't do quick chats. So my first sales meeting goes for 1 hour. And in that 1 hour, I'm spending 30 to 40 minutes, so more than half the meeting, just asking good questions to learn about the other person. And I'm just there to listen and put my thinking cap on about how I can help them. I'm not there to show up and throw up. I'm there to listen and learn. So the converting part is how to do that first meeting. It's how to actually describe when you are talking about your services, it's how to describe what you do so that you don't sound like everyone else in the marketplace in your sector. It's about how to explain your services in a way that shift you from being a nice to have to a need. And it's also how to tackle that really difficult price conversation. And, even on that, Mick, especially for small businesses, I see too many small businesses who are not competent in having price negotiations. And what happens is they end up dropping their price, which loses the margin just to win business. And this is a terrible strategy. Now, the other thing I'll share with you, in every sector, someone has to be the highest price, right? Someone has to be. So why shouldn't it be our listeners? So everyone who's listening to this interview today, why should you not be the highest price in your industry? Someone's paying for that anyway. And so that converting principle is about how to actually do that. And when we can do that competently, what you'll find is your price does go up and you have people thrilled to actually pay you.
Yeah, no, that's part of, I guess, understanding how you're different and what that unique value you offer your target market. Because I guess that sort of then creates that sense sometimes of scarcity to some degree. Would that be fair to say?
Yes. If you describe yourselves in a way that is the same as all your competitors, it does two things. It's harder for your prospect to make a decision because you're the same. You're being compared against a list of, cups that are all blue and they're all the same way and they look the same shape. So what we want to do is stand out from that. So if you describe yourself the way everyone else does, you look the same. If you look the same, but you're priced higher, you will always be challenged on your price, always, because they can't see why you should be priced higher when they think that you as a blue cup are the same as every other blue cup out there.
Do you find it difficult to define and execute a clear strategy for your small business? Does your team support your strategy? You know you are ready to create the right environment to boost your team's performance. Our 90-day business transformation program is designed for small business owners like you, with 5 to 30 team members who are ready for growth. Every day, you'll receive a short email with a handful of growth actions. You'll invest 30 minutes each week in your one-on-one coaching session, tackling your specific growth challenges with one of our experienced growth guides, business owners themselves. Boost your confidence, your team's performance, and grow your small business with ease with our business transformation program at growsmallbusiness.com.
You mentioned before that as conversation starter probably happens a lot. With a prospective client goes, well, here you're very expensive. I've been confronted with that over the years. And I can just see plenty of small business owners in their own mind going, oh, geez, where do I go with this? And like you said, a lot then start to look at dropping their price, and it's a downward spiral, as you say.
And even with dropping price, you may do it to win the business, but you don't feel good about it.
No.
We have some remorse when we do it. So I advocate very heavily that anyone listening, I genuinely believe you do not need to discount your price to win business. As a part of the Infinite Sales System, I've developed a price negotiation framework where, again, used competently, allows you not only to not discount, it allows you to charge more for your prices, increase your margins, and win more of those negotiation conversations. And what it does is it's not a sledgehammer conversation where I'm finding leverage on people. This negotiation framework is designed to be a really, really collaborative conversation that is, and when I teach this framework to our clients, Mick, they say, oh my gosh, this is so different to what I thought. This is I can actually do this. This is a really nice conversation. And that's how it should feel, because we want to have great partnerships in business. We don't want people to agree to work with us under duress. So when we can have this price negotiation conversation successfully, everybody wins out of that.
Yeah, I think I can think of a few times over the years I've regretted working with somebody by dropping the price or whatever. And like you say, it's the relationship's not up to a good start. You don't enjoy it, and it's not good for anybody, right? So it's there's no benefit in it, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the follow-up being the third piece.
Yep. So this is most of our clients, the characteristics they have in common are they are generally, so we don't work with, we generally don't work with companies who have sales teams, Mick. Our clients are companies who are the professionals on the tools, but they're also required to bring in some new business or, optimize the existing accounts that they're in for more opportunities. So our clients are on the tools and having to do some sales or business development. It's unusual for us. I can't think of a time I've worked with a full-time sales team. That's not who we work with. So for the small business owners out there who won't have sales teams, these principles are still these principles are still really relevant. What we've learned through working with these businesses is that because they're not in full-time sales roles and they're also on the tools, they want to be attracting larger clients. Larger clients can take some time to land because you're not selling widgets. And when you're not selling widgets, it means we need to follow up. No one, and even in my business, Mick, I can't think of any time I've met with someone once and they say, yes, Julia, I'm ready. Let's pay. Let's go. That's never happened. The other thing I'll share with our listeners is I don't expect it to happen. It would be a shock if that happened. So if for me in managing my own expectations, if again, for our small business listeners, if you are not selling widgets and you're doing deals that are worth tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands, bigger deals, these can take some time. So if you're expecting to land these deals in one meeting, well, I'd probably question what your process is. You probably have a sales process. But part of the follow-up is what do you do after you send that proposal? What a lot of people do is two things. They do nothing, or they make one or two phone calls or send an email that says, hi, Mick, hope you're having a great week. We've just had a long weekend. Hope you had a nice weekend too. How's business? Hope you're well. Hope you and the family are well. I just wanted to check, did you get that proposal and do you have any questions? If you do, love to have another conversation with you. Love, Julia, right? So if that's the kind of follow-up people are doing, that's not follow-up. Because I can tell you, Mick has got your proposal. So that's what happens when you send an email. They get it. And if Mick did have questions, he'd be ringing you saying, oh, Julia, I don't really understand this, or could you clarify that, or what does this mean? So the fact that you've not been contacted, they know what you do. So you then ringing someone to follow up or emailing them even worse to say, do you have any questions? Did you get the proposal? That won't get an answer. It's also a bit desperate. What we want to do is instead, we have to have peace to know that we've had a great conversation with someone. We did a great job explaining our services that have us stand out in a competitive field. We've presented our price with confidence. We know that they have our details. So we now want to, if we are playing this long game now to follow up, the research tells us it takes between 5 and 12 value-added phone calls before opportunities convert. I'll say that again. It's between 5 and 12 value-added phone calls, not emails, before opportunities convert. And these phone calls aren't ringing someone every month to say, are you ready? Are you ready with your hand out? The way we can do follow-up in a really purposeful way is we shift the relationship to become value-adding. So I'm doing my follow-up and I'm finding ways to contact my prospect in a way that serves them more than it serves me. So I'm never ringing to say, can we do the business? I'm ringing to invite them somewhere, introduce them to somebody, share a resource that's really relevant to something we talked about. I'm calling for reasons that have nothing to do with my proposal. And what this does then, this helps us become more of a trusted person in their network. And as we know, people like to do business with people they like and trust. So this pays off in the long run.
Yeah, that makes sense. And is there some sort of, I guess part of that is some psychology behind that as well?
Absolutely. No one likes to be sold to, but people do like to buy. So we have some confidence in the fact that that person has your proposal and they know what your prices are and they have all the information. If we shift that relationship to become less now about the proposal and more about the relationship, then this is a winning strategy because people like to do business with people they like. And so we're now changing our relationship to become more, I don't know, working professionals, even associates, maybe friends. And it's not about being best friends with everybody, to do that, but it is about shifting how you stay in touch with somebody so it actually serves them. And that, again, that serves them more than it serves you.
Wrapping all that up, how important is a CRM platform software to support the three parts to the sales process?
A CRM is a crucial part of your business. Now, as a small business owner, myself, and I'm sure this resonates with lots of people, that we tend to look at our bank balances a lot. I can tell you, I look at my CRM 10 times more than I look at my bank balance. My CRM is the heartbeat of my company. It tells me who I need to call, which proposal I need to follow up in an evaluating way. It tells me who I'm meeting tomorrow. It tells me these qualification questions. It tells me that information before I meet somebody. My CRM ensures that no one gets forgotten. And if you're a business who are doing deals that are maybe high ticket item deals, maybe they're worth tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're in that bracket, the question I will ask you is, can you afford, how many can you afford to lose? And if you can afford to lose all of them, then don't get a CRM. But if you want to win and optimize these opportunities and you value every opportunity, then you must have a CRM. On that though, CRMs, I've been working with CRMs for the best part of 25 years. And I get asked all the time, which one do you use, Julia? My answer to that is, I can't tell you. I can tell you, but it won't help you. This is the same as me saying, oh, Mick, your office looks really nice from the outside. Show me the building plans. I'm going to have the exact same office built and it will look identical inside and out. And you'll go, but hang on, Julia, don't you want to know how many staff I have and what my future plans are and if I like what colors I like? No one's going to go, no, I want it exactly the same as yours. So a CRM is a very, very personal choice based on the future and the future needs of your business. What other software you've got, what it plugs into, what reporting you want. It's not as simple as asking me, well, what do you use, Julia? I'm going to use your process, so I'll use the same CRM. Every business has different things that plug into it. So what CRM I use is actually irrelevant, but I can tell you that a CRM is an essential part of a sales process if you want to optimize your revenue.
Yeah, and that's, as you say, part of that systematic approach and process.
Yeah. Even this topic is so important. I've, as you're probably aware, I've recently released a book on this topic, on this system that I built. And this book covers all those components of the sales process as well as information on CRMs, because there is a lot of misinformation out there and there's a lot of companies that I believe are making this way more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. And
so I want to simplify this for everybody.
Yes, and we'll certainly put that in the show notes, and that book is From Pitch to Profit. So a great way for our listeners to start looking at their sales process, and obviously can reach out to you if they want to talk further about how you can help them. So look, it's really appreciate your time, Julia, and it's been some great insights and some great takeaways for our listeners there. And like I say, they can now got a bit of a pathway, reach out to you, read your book, and get focused on introducing a sales process for their business to take them to the next level as far as their growth aspirations.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again, and hopefully when I'm next time in Perth, reach out and see if I can catch up.
That sounds great. Thank you, Mick.
Thanks, Julia.
Want to help other small business owners improve their business? There's one quick thing you can do, which is jump over to iTunes and leave a review. Or if you don't have an account, follow us on Spotify.